Take a look at standard modern interiors. You are usually surrounded by rectangular sofas, square rugs, and sharp doorways. Mounting a large, perfectly round piece of glass onto a harsh wall immediately disrupts that geometry and softens the room. Introducing a circle into a boxy space forces the eye to reevaluate the room's depth. It creates a continuous curve that breaks up the predictable patterns of modern furniture. The Mirror Museum catalog serves as a testing ground for this effect. Their lineup spans 13 distinct size brackets, starting at a standard 80-centimeter diameter and scaling up to 2.4 meters, a size covering most of a standard wall. That wide range creates a challenge. If you select a size or finish that doesn't account for the surrounding architecture, the glass can fight the room's intended proportions instead of enhancing them. Success here requires calculating exact scale, intended function, and budget before looking at aesthetics. Without these numbers, you are essentially guessing. Large, empty walls tend to swallow small objects. If you mount an entry-level 80-centimeter mirror alone on a primary living room wall, it often ends up looking like a small porthole rather than an intentional design choice. On the other hand, moving to a 240-centimeter option requires significant wall real estate and heavy-duty structural anchoring to safely hold the glass weight. This comparison table shows the financial variance, leaping from 400 dirhams entry-level to a 4,500 dirhams statement piece. The ideal outcome left is scaled correctly, softening the room. The right column shows poor planning. Undersizing makes the mirror look out of place, regardless of cost. Size is the primary factor in this decision. If the diameter is wrong for the wall, the frame style and material won't be enough to fix the visual imbalance. To organize these 13 size brackets, we can map the catalog on this quadrant chart. It plots your scale and budget on the horizontal axis against the actual room impact on the vertical axis. Down in the lower left quadrant, we have the 80 to 100 centimeter range. The cost is low, around 400 to 500 dirhams, but the application is usually limited to entryways or small vanity nooks. Up in the top right quadrant are the 180 to 240 centimeter sizes. These command a 4,500 dirham premium because they are large enough to act as the primary focal point for an entire room. Moving into that upper quadrant introduces logistical requirements. You must factor in heavy-duty mounting hardware and specialized installation planning for glass at this scale. This shift changes the mirror's role in the house. It stops being a lightweight wall accessory and becomes a permanent, load-bearing element of the room's design. Once you determine the size, you must decide on the mirror's primary job. Do you need task lighting or a focal piece of art? The round, frameless LED wall mirror starts at 550 dirhams. This piece is designed for utility. The frameless LED design provides shadow-free, forward-facing illumination. If you use the mirror for grooming in a bathroom, this direct light is a practical necessity. The trade-off is installation. To keep the appearance clean and modern, an LED mirror requires planning for in-wall electrical wiring behind the mounting point. Contrast that with the Zoan mirror. At 800 dirhams, it removes internal lighting to focus entirely on the aesthetic presence of a physical, styled frame. You generally have to choose between the specific utility of built-in tech or the visual weight of a decorative frame, as these rarely exist in the same product. The final decision is selecting your finish. With 18 distinct color options, this is where you settle on the room's specific look. The special color category includes finishes like antique brass, copper, and Coquelicot. Selecting one of these metallic frames gives the mirror the presence of a luxury object. However, a bold finish can lock the room into a color palette that's difficult to change. Avoid that restriction by choosing a frameless model or a standard black or white frame. These neutral edges adapt more easily if you decide to repaint or redesign the room later. Special color frames carry aesthetic risk and limit future flexibility, but they provide a level of detail that standard finishes can't match for luxury spaces. We can translate these trade-offs into a buyer blueprint, mapping technical data to 3 specific profiles. If you are the statement maker with an open concept villa, look at 150 centimeter and larger sizes in antique brass or dark gold. These function as architectural art. If you are the functional remodeler updating a bathroom, focus on the 550 dirham frameless LED. This choice prioritizes light quality and utility over a decorative frame. For the space optimizer brightening a hallway, look at 100 by 100 framed options, maximizing reflection within standard budgets. Identifying which of these 3 profiles matches your project clarifies the catalog, leaving you with the specific sizes and features that actually fit your goals. Before you finish the order, there is one practical warning. It is very difficult to accurately visualize a large diameter on a blank wall using only your imagination. Use painter's tape to outline the exact diameter of the mirror on your wall before adding anything to your cart. This test is important for any mirror crossing the 120 centimeter threshold. At that size, an error in spatial judgment becomes obvious the moment the glass is hung. A precisely scaled round mirror creates perfect visual balance, but a guessed measurement disrupts the entire room's geometry. The value of a Mirror Museum piece is in the precision of the fit. When you match the scale and features to your specific room, the mirror becomes a natural extension of the architecture.